Speaking of staying, we're at episode 100. We're still here. Welcome to this week's episode of Flesh and Blood, of Pit Against, a live Flesh and Blood college show. I'm Kevin Smurph Murphy, and my constant co-host, Table and Legs. What's up? Happy 100. Yay, happy 100. Thank you. Enjoy your meeting. Pit Against is a live call-in show. If you'd like to be live on air talking to us about your hot take, I'm talking to you, Charlie. Join the Pit Against Discord by clicking on the link that's in the description. Join the waiting room channel. Put your hot take in the topics text channel. If you like your take, we'll pull you on for a mic check and then put you on air. You can also put a take in the topics text channel in the stream chat or in the comments for me to bring up if you can't make it on. Guys, Kevin, what's actually up? What's up? What's up? Cat. Let's go. We do have a couple of takes. Like Abyss was in Discord earlier, and so we'll probably get around to talking to them. But first comes first. Mm-hmm. We had a B&R.
Yes.
And I'm going to read, unless you want to give initial takes first, I was going to just read people's quote tweets on Bluesky to the B&R. Just a few of them.
Yeah, you can go ahead with that.
Okay. So, the following changes have been announced preemptively in consideration for Las Vegas competitors. They are not in effect until July 6th. He looks like a heckin' whatever that is, like a Star Wars character. Is what he looks like. I forgot what they're called. A little meep-looking cat. He's so big.
He's a big boy.
Thank you, Gordon, for being here for the 100th episode. It feels very special. The following changes to Classic Constructive are effective on the July 6th. Electromagnetic Somersault Blue, the Majestic, is unbanned. Skyward Serenade, the test card that got printed, was unbanned. Talk a Big Game, which was the most problematic card. The UPF card, the most problematic card to never see play, unbanned.
Yeah.
Remembrance, banned.
It's gone.
Finally. Let's go. And a billion words about it, but 0 words about Cash In, Seeds of Agony, Steelblade Shunt, and Vigorous Smash Up, all unbanned for Silver Age. And this is what people had to say. William Table and Legs says, let's go. That is shared by a couple of people. Marowak really appreciates the more professional tone of this B&R and really liked that. Froggy says this is good. Tommy made a joke. Andy said thank you. There's a lot of smiley faces, a lot of gifs. I think this is pretty solid. Really interesting. Liked all the context. We'll talk about that in a second. Do you want me to read Smithel? He's not here to defend himself, but I do want to talk about it a little bit. Smithel said something a little different. I don't think I've ever been more upset about an announcement than this. Unbanning a card that you say was a printing error is a bad look. Or it wasn't a printing error and saying so was a lie. This is the first B&R that I've been very opposed to, and Somersault should stay gone 0 out of 10. Specifically, we're talking about Skyward Serenade. Was a card that they said previously it didn't say choose. It said choose 2, but one of the options was go again instead of the card having innate go again. That ended up being a printing error where the card just has go again and you don't have to choose that one, which a lot of people basically boil it down to it actually saying choose 1. Right, because you'd almost always choose go again on the card. And so it being a printing error, they talked about how they felt it could be feels bad to lose to a card that was a printing error. Thoughts?
I think that's in the realm of printing errors, this is just not a problem.
Okay. Yeah.
There's way worse they could have done as printing errors than this. Like, it's a 0 for 4 with Go Again. That's a 2-block. That is a lightning. It's good. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good card. And it was really good in Aurora 1. It was a big deal for her to get that card. I don't care.
Like,
what is it? What if a printing error was like Ard4 was choose 3 modes?
Or if this was choose 3 modes. Or if it was just
or if that was
everything.
choose 3 modes.
Like,
yeah. Like, in the realm of printing errors, turning this into a 0 for 4 with Go Again is not something I am gonna fight. And
so,
the idea, I will say there is some inconsistency between their last BNR and this one. In the, we don't want people to play against cards that were printing errors because it's not how the card was intended. It's like, well, nobody knew that, and everyone dealt with it for the 9 months Aurora, or for the 3 months, I guess, that Aurora had that card.
No.
And nobody cared because you didn't tell us until after, and everyone was like, dang, this card is just good.
It's
all right.
So it's yellow Ravenous Revel that counts as having played a non-attack action, that counts as being a lightning card, and in some very, very specific use cases, you would do something different with it, right?
For Briar, yes, that card is messed up because it gets it's worth a whole half an extra card at least, in my opinion. It is very good in Briar. But like, you're putting in Aurora 1 and Aurora 2? It's like, it's good in Aurora 1, don't worry, but she was already like one of the top players in the meta, especially as Viscerai was leaving. And then now it's like, what does it actually do for this Aurora besides be like,
turns on the weapon?
I guess it's 1 point better than Fry and blocks 2.
Like, if you play this into the weapon, that's like it's a 1 card 6-ish.
Yeah.
Depending on how they block.
The rest of your cards blocked for 2, probably.
Yeah.
So, like,
and
what we're talking about, a 4 card 12?
1 card 6 Majestics are also not crazy.
No. And it's like, part of that is you have to swing your weapon, which then, like, Marionette gets to play around with that. Kasai gets to play around with that. Like, it's not an on hit, it's vanilla damage until that 1 comes in from Scorpio. Like, this isn't a problem. If your problem is like the card and whether or not it was misprinted, all that stuff, that's fine. If your issue is with the way LSS has presented it in the last 2 BNRs, I'm a bit more sympathetic to that, because they're like, yeah, we don't want people to have to play against misprinted cards. And it's like, well, sure, okay. None of us cared. I didn't care, at least. Like, we just played against the card, and we played with the card, and it was fine, and it was a good card. And then you come back and you just don't say anything about... Like, if they had just said nothing about it being a misprint, this wouldn't be a conversation.
I appreciate that they did it. I actually feel like kind of nice that they did.
In general, I'm glad they did, but if they had said nothing about it being a misprinted card in the last BNR, this conversation isn't happening.
Yeah. They did have a blurb in this one of... Also, it might feel weird if they ban that card, because internally they know that they feel bad about people having to play against it. And then...
I don't know where that's from.
Like let's say that they did feel bad about that, but then they didn't tell us, like in the hypothetical, they didn't tell us that this was a mistake. Sure. And then they were like, okay, we're banning this card, and we don't want to give an explanation.
We would assume it's just because the card was good, because the card was good. You're not randomly banning, like, I don't know, something out of the Ziggy. You're not randomly banning Blur Reality from the Ziggy Armory deck. A card that people aren't playing in Ziggy, where everyone would just look at you like, but why? It's like, fine. I don't think it's like... So they talk about, like, playing against cards, a misprinted card feels bad. Yeah. And it's like, does that feel worse than playing against Remembrance and Goldmane Estate?
Okay. I think I answered that by reading what I wanted to pull out of the article. which is also kind of my perspective. I think I don't care about playing against a misprinted card if they're like, it's fine. If they're like, we
Yeah,
think it's fine, then it's fine. Then I don't
they
care.
could have
And right,
misprinted the card and made it worse.
yeah. So what they put, so true.
It's a whole separate issue.
They put for right now we want to give Aurora a shot of adrenaline. Skyward Serenade on ban was the best option we have available here to buff Aurora without also buffing Acilio. It may not be a card we view with fondness internally due to the printing error that saw its existence deviate from how we developed, but ultimately the needs of the game and Aurora trump our internal dislike of where we landed. And then they put it is entirely within the realm of possibility that we revert this decision in the future, but we feel it's the right move for the time being. That's enough for me. Also, I don't hate playing against the card. Like, the card is like, they drew the good 0 for 4. It's like, yeah.
So I hear that, and I'm like, oh, they're making a logical decision instead of an emotional one.
Good. And emotions were involved, and they were like, we're still going to make the logical decision here, and we're going to, think about both, but lean on this one. And I think that's great.
Yeah. That's not a battle worth fighting, and considering the difference in this BNR's tone compared to the last one, I much prefer this, as well as this outcome is like totally fine. They're not just like unbanning Art of War because it was misprinted or something. Like,
unrelated on that note, I was worried that this BNR was going to be very robotic, like them almost giving
not
me
trying
whiplash,
to
like overcorrecting from the statement of the last one. And I thought the tone from this one was great. It felt like a human wrote this, and it was well written.
It felt like a human wrote it and then had people proofread it.
If that's what happened, that's genius. I love it.
But didn't overwrite that individual.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't still one person writing it. The last one did not feel like one person wrote it. This felt like one person wrote it, other people gave input, and it was still one person making the call on it.
It felt like the last one person wrote it, and then somebody else was like, I need to add in my 2 cents real quick and put something in. So, Smith, we disagree. You're not on the show to defend yourself. I understand that. And I also understand the point that you feel, because I think I pushed back a little bit in saying I can understand when, like, let's say you have a particularly bad game and you lose to basically a printing error, and you're like, that's all you can think about in that game. Some people
lost to 8th Wildfire, which is printed as intended.
Yeah.
Like, what is the difference?
Yeah,
what is the actual difference? That is a legal game piece, the same as any other, and it's far from the most egregious. Like, I don't care.
The excuses that come into my head are, I have a cattail, just the tail. The excuses I have is you have a deck that's particularly weak to Aurora, and you lose to Aurora, and it feels extra bad because that deck is not designed to play against Aurora well. And then you feel extra bad because, and you're reaching for reasons you lost. And I'm not saying Smithel feels this way, but I could totally see your Flesh and Blood player thinking this way, where they're just like, they want to blame anything but themselves. And this card was not supposed to be this way, so I'm blaming it for this. And the game was particularly bad because I chose to play, I don't know, a warrior into Aurora or something. I don't know. So a lot of people are really excited about seeing the cards unbanned. I think my favorite part of it, and I think other people didn't like it, the final unbanned comes in the form of Talk a Big Game. This edition is meant as a bit of a wild card for players to evaluate. I think from their perspective, they're either like, it's not that bad, or they've done more testing. It's not that bad, or it's time. This is the meta where that card is supposed to be in. And maybe they were thinking Victor was the deck that was going to ruin Talk a Big Game, and they're expecting Victor to go like the rest of us. Yeah, exactly.
Would have.
Yes. And so my point is,
turns out with Goldmane Estate, that was also going to be a problem.
Yes. And Oh, yeah. So I think they're like, okay, it's time for Talk a Big Game to get unbanned, but we're not going to talk about it. Just know that it's time. And
Yeah,
I think that's fine. I'm chill with that.
I think it's. I mean, I think I am in the same spot as I was when they initially banned it, and we saw the once we'd seen the Super Slam heroes. I don't think we had enough information when they gave us that ban that we could kind of see what was happening, which is their Pleiades and Lyeth in particular are going to play a bunch of auras and get to damage stack really effectively for a single turn. Then they get to pair it with evasion, either intimidate / dominate from Lyeth or confidence from Pleiades, and force Talk a Big Game through. And then that's not really the issue, is being able to utilize Talk a Big Game that way. It's when you have another Talk a Big Game on the next turn.
That is extra gross because it
Yes.
compounds and it makes it so much easier for the next one.
And it's a.
I also am going to have a lot of fun when they
effect.
when they like overpower a Talk a Big Game attack, and you can like cover it, and then they don't get like they cover it by 1 extra point of value, and they don't get the value out of the card. That'll be extra funny and can happen. So,
but I still don't think any of those decks would be like top tier playing Talk a Big Game, but you would consistently, I think, have one of those decks sneaking into like top 32 of your events because one person with it rolled hot. It's just the games that the scenarios where Talk a Big Game does the thing are not interesting scenarios because there isn't. I don't know the counterplay other than like exactly Buzzsaw Trap.
I think your opponent. I think there's an interesting line with that card where they can play too greedy and get blown out, or they get or like name a number too greedy and they get blown out, but they could also name a number too conservative and then it's not that busted.
Sure, but that's also math you can do face up.
Yeah,
because you take it. Let's say it's dominate. You take a 4-block react from Arsenal because most decks aren't going to run unmovable, and if it's Guardian, you can account for staunch.
Yeah.
But like you take a 4-block react from Arsenal, you take a 3-block from hand. If you know it's overcrowded, you can make it a 4. You can count as a 4-block from hand or a D react, and then you have the equipment. Instant speed prevention also helps. Or destruction, maybe. Random unmovable, sure.
Hey Tim.
I just think it's like when it works and does the thing, it just
does the thing.
Not interesting.
It's would you call it a meaningful quest?
Meaningful isn't the word I would use.
If you're listening, Kevin made a face. You should come back. You come back on YouTube and watch that face. I think when people get it off, it's going to be awesome. And if they get it off twice a game,
feel great.
They're going to feel on top of the world. And I think I'm okay with that. But if I feel like, I don't know.
It's still the issue is not the first one. The issue is the second one.
Here's the thing is
when you roll them together, because the first one working makes the second one that much harder after if you spend armor and stuff to try and get it over, and they still have like a Razor Reflex in Lyeth or a Pummel in Pleiades to like push it over that you just like couldn't deal with. Like,
here's my thing about like weird combo decks like this is like if it's consistent.
Is Kano any different?
If it's that's one way to look at it. If it's consistent, then it's a part of the meta, and you have to like view it as like Kano. If it's inconsistent, they're gonna win some games. That they just like they win because they have this card in their deck and they played it out, right?
Yeah.
And they're not going to get enough wins to run a tournament. And so you might get juiced, but they've chose to basically sack the event they're at, which I can understand why some competitive people at like a bigger event might get upset because you ran into the Pleiades that like drew gas. But that's the variance of the game. They can choose to bring that if they want to. They're probably not going to even cash on a deck like that. So, like,
well, that's part of why they banned it. I think is just like, well, what are we getting out of this? What are we adding to our competitive? If we're a competitive game and this is our competitive scene, What are we adding by having this card here?
Casual players. I feel like I
Sure.
think the reason they banned it initially was like they found a way to make it consistent, and then it was like a meta deck.
Sure.
That's that's what I assumed when they
Okay.
banned it.
I mean, I assume that's only more true now than before,
Probably.
but 2 turns in a row, any better or worse than back-to-back Blood Rush Bellows? I think double talk a big game is more obnoxious because Blood Rush Bellows doesn't have claws anymore.
Blood Rush Bellows does not have claws.
If it still had claws, then I think that's a discussion.
Yeah.
But without claws, Blood Rush Bellows is not nearly what it used to be, in my opinion.
Also, you get 2 games in most tournaments. 2, 1, 2, 3 games, depending on how many players, that you can just lose. If you're the best player at the event with the best deck and the best luck, and you're going to win this event, you can run into the Pallades once. I'm okay with that. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. If I get juiced by this card, I'm going to be like, it was their day. They wanted it more. I'm not going to be upset.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's the variance
I'm going to
LSS
be
wanted, and that's card
way
games.
more upset if the game was super close or I made a mistake. But I upset at myself, like not at them. Just like
Yeah.
come on. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm excited for our new insect overlords. However the quote goes. I can understand where you're coming from, Smithel, but I think that's the that's the day one take. I think that's we didn't quite look through all the options, which is fine. All right. What else did we have to talk about? We have callers that are not in the call. If you wanted to call in, this is your opportunity. You need to be in call-in topics for us to pull you on air.
In waiting room.
In waiting room. Yes, you're right. In in the waiting room. Though we did get your takes. Was there something else I was going to talk about? I thought there was something else I was going to talk about. In the meantime. What else happened?
I don't. Hang on. Let me see.
Viscerai's back? Maybe. Maybe.
Oh yeah, we got another teaser.
Second teaser.
Okay.
Give us the card. Also, I'm getting old of people calling everybody with their chest puffed out swole. This Viscerai is not swole. He's wearing armor.
Yeah.
And I kind of push back a bit against Swolcilio. Because he's just rocks. His rocks are a little more distant than the other rocks than the last Swolcilio. The last one was a little more compact. I don't know.
Yeah.
If we had Dio was pumping iron, then sure, I could understand buff Dio. But buff Dash.
What else?
There was something else. I can't remember what it was. Something happened. Oh, Silver Age bands.
Oh yeah.
They didn't give any explanation on them. Viswolei? Viswolerai? Viswolerai is such a stretch. I'm going to say Viscerai if there's only one Viscerai in the format.
Yep.
Just like I'm going to say Aurora if there's only one Aurora in the format. Cashin unbanned.
Yeah.
Seeds of Agony unbanned. Shunt unbanned. Vigor Smash Up. These are bombs. All of these are great.
I think Vigor Smash Up is going to get rebanned when KO comes back. Unless this is where they want Silver Age to be, which is they kind of just powered up a lot of stuff. Everything that isn't Briar just got a power up, or Briar or Oldham.
Tier lists. We're not doing a tier list.
This ban list feels weird because it's like they're trying to make Sage into Blitz.
Blitz Light.
Yeah, well, not even Blitz Light. If you give cash in to some of these pirate decks that can make gold.
Are they turning Silver Age into CC? Where they just give everyone just like one or two power cards, and then your deck pops off if you draw the one or two power cards?
You mean like Burn Up Shock and Lightning Press?
Yeah. Yeah. Except for
Maybe.
I don't know. Steelblade Shunt is also a great card. What's Chain doing with Seeds of Agony?
It's just another non-attack that you can banish. It's also a way to ping yourself for Deathly Whales to make rune chants to keep rune gaining more. If you want to play Boomer Chain, you can now, which might be better in some ways, but worse in others.
That's right. Seeds into
Riftbinds.
Riftbind.
Yeah.
Seed is such a cool card. In my opinion, I love that card.
Yeah. I think it's a fine card. It was actually designed with Chain in mind, which is, weird, but
oh, it's great. Steelblade Shunt is a power card in the sense of it's a very solid D-react.
It's also deck efficiency that
yes.
Warrior was suddenly lacking.
Mm-hmm.
The deck efficiency that they get out of that is really big, because that means their fatigue options got a lot better.
It combos well with you can play it off yellows with Oasis, very easy. Like Shunt, Oasis, and a yellow is still a really good play. And if you had a blue and you had two or three of these things, then it's
and then it's
wild up.
It fixes your cost curves defensively into Briar, where you're going to get random pinged for 1 or 2, especially now with the Omens cards.
Oh, true. You can AB and still play these out. That's really good.
Yeah, you get to
really
block
good.
efficiently, and your Briar matchup actually just got way better. It was probably 2 or 3 points a game you get back at least, if not more.
That's kind of sick.
Shunt from Arsenal covering 6 against their big numbers is really good. Yeah. If they're sending big numbers, which they're a little bit more go wide than go tall now, but oh yeah, it also pairs with Brothers in Arms.
Brothers in Arms
for more block
fours.
I
love that.
But it is a major upgrade for DGA, for the DGA decks, which are going to deal with Oldhim very well.
Yeah.
In addition to that,
I'm thinking about playing.
Yeah.
I just want to play a deck that beats Briar. That's what I want to do in Sage.
Sure. That's probably DGA. DGA is going to be one of the best decks now. It's whether or not they can deal with Rhinar. Because they're going to deal with Bravo. But Rhinar getting Vigorous Smash Up is definitely real. Because if you get a resource, you get to go Wild Ride, discard top card, float 2 resources into Medax. And that's a really solid value play line. So
yeah. I think we wait to see if people come back before I say their takes.
Yeah, we'll give it a little bit more.
Sure.
Ban Codex, make a watered down version as a Zuri spec. I mean, you could say that about so many class cards at this point.
Oh yeah, no, that was I that's what it was. Is I made a Bluesky post, and that was one of the things that was brought up was exactly that. To which I think I replied with I think Azuri would not play 3 minutes, cool. I think Azuri would not play a watered down Codex. I think if Codex didn't ponder...
I mean, it depends on how you water it down, right?
I think if Codex didn't make tokens, it might not play it.
I think Azuri uses the tokens the worst. So she would care the least.
I guess that's a good point. I guess I mean to say, well...
her ponders are not great.
Codex, Tunic, CNC off of something else is still really good. I guess I mean to say, of her game plan of playing stealth cards and then turning them into big attacks, it doesn't do that.
Nope.
So like
It's just there because it's leave no witnesses that ponders and
like
frailties.
her specialization is like exactly what her deck wants to do. I kind of want.
Yeah.
I understand that it was like it's got Azuri on the card, but a knife through is almost it is an Azuri
That's an
card.
Azuri card.
But like I would love like a majestic stealth card that like really just screams this is for Azuri, other than just freaking maybe more. I think what Azuri wants is more stealth cards that say on attack do this. Like lobotomy. I've been playing lobotomy in it.
Sure.
Let's see. I think the post that I made was mostly about the ban list, and so people responded about that. Charlie was in here earlier. Here's my hot take. The announcement was fine.
Yeah. I thought the announcement overall was pretty solid.
Let's see. What was it? That was said. Many people's concern with CC is the introduction of new content more so than power outliers. It's nice they used this ban list to try to address that, but all parties agree that it's an imperfect tool. What a string of words. Still here just vibing? Charlie, what was your hot take? Yeah, the announcement was fine. Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
Thoughts on their projections being so off? All right. They said at one point, they
had projected Victor, Syndra, and Phi to have LL'd.
Yeah. Within the internal dev environment, she also, Aurora, does not have to play against Victor, Goldmane, Syndra, or Phi, as all of these heroes have been forecasted to reach Living Legend by this moment in time. It's interesting that they would bring up that they do like. I think forecasted is such the interesting word that like threw me off. Like it almost like I can understand they'd be like, let's prep for certain metas as if this hero isn't here anymore. I think that makes a lot of sense. But what if they test where they're just like, yeah. Syndra's gone by now. She's done. We don't have to concern ourselves with the world where she does exist.
Yeah.
I wonder if that also leads to heroes getting stagnant, where they get like to the finish line. LSS is not considering them anymore, and they just like stop at the finish line, and they don't have that last push to get over, like Briar.
I mean, it's part of the problem is the way the points are set up is just the large chunks of points that go to a calling, even. And I'm not even going to say like Pro Tours and Worlds. It's how the points go. Like they have what 20 callings a year. How accurately are they predicting the win rates of heroes at callings? How much variance do they get?
Sound hard to do, right? Like
yeah, like it. This isn't me like bashing them.
Yeah,
for this.
No. Like we like every
incredibly
like we as the community struggle to do that. Because there's all the time where we're just like, when Viscerai was on its last legs, it felt like 4 months of people saying, well, there's like 6 heroes will leave any minute now. Any minute now. And then it felt like forever. Like it felt like it took them forever for like those 6 heroes to jump across the line. Viscerai, Azalea, and all of them.
Because what happens is if you miss 2 callings that you think, oh, this hero is going to win 3 callings this year, and they only win 1, you're not off by 100 points. You're off by 200 because another hero got 100 points you didn't anticipate.
Oh, yes. Zero sum. Someone's getting the
That's
points.
The big issue is like, well, okay, so who is LL'd instead?
Yeah.
Because that's 3 heroes that we're not supposed to have.
Seb. I remember saying a while ago it felt like they expected Fi to go fairly quickly and not Dromai when they kept printing Dromai cards after she LL'd. What do they print for Dromai after she LL'd? Draco Fire?
Oh, no, the dusts.
That's right.
I don't really count those. I think the only dust that was like real for her was the Chromai one.
Okay, yeah.
Which was in the set, the second to last set before she LL'd. It was in Bright Lights.
Yeah.
Which Bright Lights for Dromai was insane because that was Tome and Chromai Dust. I don't know. I feel like it's like I don't really count the dusts. Those feel weird because like she wasn't playing them outside the Chromai one. They were like way too slow. I guess the term would be tempo negative. For
but
like
I
no
can see
value.
I can see what they're trying to get at, where it's like,
yeah,
they assumed Fi would just leave. They thought Dromai wouldn't leave as fast.
No, I think Dromai left when they expected her to.
Okay.
I think Fi didn't leave when they expected him to.
And then they had to print
because I remember they were talking about Fi still being one of their better decks, even in Mistveil meta.
That's
when he still had Art of War. But it's because he got Aspect of Tiger Body.
Yes. Okay.
Which is just 2 chain links on combo turns. So he was still exploding people in their internal testing, but also they didn't have Rainbow Bond Zen. They had normal Zen. And if Fi still had Art of War when normal Zen came around post Art of War, post Bond's ban,
then he just kills
Fi's going to compete in that.
He just wins.
Fi will compete in that meta, but then you went and took Art of War away, and there's no reason for Aspect of Tiger Body to be played as a result, really. And then
you have to design a new Art of War, and it takes forever for it to come out and print. And
all of your gas is just gone.
Yeah.
Because of it. And your Art of War has to be severely nerfed to the point where it's like, the deck is good, the card is good, but it's not just insta LLing. It's gotten 0. Has it gotten 0 points since then?
No, right? Like,
he's gotten some.
Must have gotten.
But he's not like stomping.
Yeah.
2 in top 8.
Yeah.
1 completely undefeated.
Yes.
But it's not running over
the
season.
Mr. Gump.
0 LL points for Fi this season in Omen season.
Oh wow. Huh. I just didn't expect that.
I mean, this is an artifact. Won some PQs.
He's won some PQs. Thank you, Wyatt.
But this is also like an artifact of the way what other people have been talking about, which is, should you be giving LL points to the rest of the top 8 heroes at some events? If a hero top 8's a PT, should it get LL points?
I think we should jump to the caller if you want to do that. And then, sure. We have another caller who wanted to talk about that. If they show up in time, we'll finish that conversation. Otherwise, we can talk about it without them.
Yeah. Okay.
So while Kevin goes checks on them, I get to tell you that this is our 100th episode. And that from the deepest part of my heart, I love you. Thank you for tuning in for all these 100 episodes. It's wild that we've gotten this far and that we still want to do it. We've just I don't know. Like it all started from us just reading all these takes on Twitter. It was Twitter at the time. Um, we were reading all these takes on Twitter about people who were uh, talking with only, was it 200 characters, and uh, we were just like, we can have more conversation to this, and the show's built up from there. And I don't know. The premise is still great. I still like the direction of the show, and I'm also still excited to say, caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello there. My name is Larv. I am currently calling out of the DMV area,
Ooh,
repping
the
halfway
Department of
repping
Motor
the
Vehicles.
feisty, not just the Department of Motor Vehicles, but the DC, Maryland, Virginia
Oh,
metropolitan area
oh,
by way of the feisty locals. Not actually part
sick.
of the team, but
Oh,
shout out to the
shout out
feisty
to the
locals.
feisty locals. I
They
see
are
them all the
a
time.
fantastic group of players.
See them all the time at events. What would you like to talk about on the show?
So I'm actually cashing in on a talking point that I brought up last week, being verbatim. The
Mhm.
random elements in Flesh and Blood are turning away the old heads of Fab, but random elements helps casuals. But casuals don't want to play Flesh and Blood. The snake is eating its tail.
Oh,
That was my
interesting.
point. That was my
Mhm,
comment
mhm.
verbatim.
Did you
From
want to
the other.
elaborate on that?
So it is a multifaceted take.
Mhm.
What I mean by that is you have your core audience essentially, right? Where you have your tournament grinders, the people that really care about this game, the people that have been playing since it doesn't even matter from day one or day yesterday, that are all in on this game, on Flesh and Blood. Wanting to play a lower variance trading card game. A game that has been built as such for a long time now. Even now, I think it's still being built as a pretty low variance trading card game.
Yeah.
Heck, um,
Low variance enough for
Germany.
Germany.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're on the
Thank you.
same
So it was
page.
Germany.
Yeah.
Yep, it was low variance enough for Germany to call it low variance and not gambling. And that was in the past year of that major milestone. I'd call it a major milestone,
Oh, it was.
especially
I thought
for,
it was great.
yeah, just for the entire air of the trading card game scene. Because what other trading card game to this day has that? Not many, if any.
No. So, uh, and your point is they're moving away from it.
Is it's been tweaked and adjusted in a way that the pro scene is noticing. The casuals are sort of noticing, but they don't get to experience it, mostly because the game is expensive. But they don't get to experience it because one of my general talking points that I have on my side here
Hmm.
is Flesh and Blood is a fighting game that is turning into Smash Brothers.
That's what I always said
It,
they should do with UPF. Is you need to just turn items on.
yeah, but the thing is, very slowly, they're not turning items on. We haven't gotten to, oh my goodness, I'm getting nuked 4 games out of my 9 game calling, and then I shrug my shoulders and I have to reach deep into my well of it is what it is, because it's a trading card game. Sometimes you do have it is what it is. But we're starting to see inches of tripping. We're starting to see inches of I can't do my perfect pivot anymore. My movement is being slowly inched away from me. Not that it's been taken away entirely,
Hmm.
not that my agency is gone, but it's starting to be encroached upon.
Do you wanna hit on this first?
Sure. Um, I think this is something that they've talked about them doing is they wanted to add more variance into the game with the idea that I think a lot of people have talked about if you're a newer player and you show up for 3 months and you don't win a game, you're not likely to keep coming back.
Unless you're a sadistic
But
freak.
yes, um, which is ironically what the game caters to the most. Um, but they want to add a little variance in, and newer players can sneak wins off more experienced players, all that stuff. Um, the game at its core, I think I generally agree. The game at its core is still much more catered to competitive gamers and to people who have been playing the game a long time, which is just always going to make it hard for casuals to get into the game. And ironically, like, I think Silver Age, the way Silver Age is working out, we might end up with just two communities, which is all the new players that Silver Age brought in, and then all the competitive players playing CC who don't connect with Silver Age as much because it's just not what they play. And I think Silver Age is going to bring in is bringing in new players much better than CC is, and we weirdly don't have a lot of crossover between them, which is its own thing. But then you have 20 health formats, and variance is already going to increase there. But like, it's funny how Silver Age, like, even if it's still flesh and blood, is going to give a little bit of that. I feel like I can still win the game, even though I'm a new player. But is that just because they're playing against new players?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Or the players they're playing against
want to play Silver Age, which are
want to play Silver Age, but are on average less. I'm not going to say less enfranchised, but have played the game for less time on average than the average CC player.
I will say,
let's say,
before I talk about this, that I live around, my LGSs are located in Roanoke, Virginia, which, if you don't know why that's relevant in the TCG space, Star City Games is based out of Roanoke, Virginia. And it is just like a lantern. It attracts players like flies, like competitive-minded trading card game players. And so I have a wildly different perspective on this from most people, because what I see is I actually do see a lot of people more recently have getting into Flesh and Blood through Sage, and they're like hesitant to play CC. They're not really interested in it. They don't really want to go to the CC armories. They want to keep playing the Sage armories. And then one person from their group plays a game of CC, and they're like, wait a second, guys. There's like a whole new level to this. And then they all go headfirst into CC. I'm currently seeing from Sage like second wave of that locally, where like a second group has now just played their first game of CC after having played Sage for a few months, and they're like, oh no, the game's good. And then they're getting all their other friends into playing CC. But that's because all these people were going to play CC eventually. Like, these players were always going to be the freaks that like min-max their decks and or have a competitive mindset and want to play all the big events and stuff like that. So that's probably different than other communities. So I haven't seen that. I think the point I don't necessarily disagree with it, but the point I was going to push back with was casuals don't want to play Flesh and Blood. The randomness helps casuals, but casuals don't want to play Flesh and Blood. I think it helps new players get the feeling of what winning is and get interested into the game more so, even if they're not like very casual. But I think it's not necessarily that Sage will pull in only casuals, and that Flesh and Blood, the people playing Sage are only casuals, because Magic the Gathering, from what I can tell, is still hemorrhaging pros. Like, it is still,
for sure.
There is
a million.
Yeah. There's sickos out there that want to play the busted stuff, and they want to play in big events, and they want to be very competitive on all this stuff, and they're still coming into Flesh and Blood. And so I feel like, naturally with any business, there's turnover, right? And that's a healthy and normal thing, and you should learn to expect a certain amount of turnover. And I'm sure LSS does expect a certain amount of turnover. And so you want to do what you can to mitigate it, but you also got to understand that some of it is like natural and it's going to happen. So you have to replace those customers, and you replace them by, well, there's still professional players that still want to probably play card games. Could be people leaving Yu-Gi-Oh! That game's even more explosive. They're going to go to Flesh and Blood, and they're going to see, they're going to get T-Toxined once, and they're going to be like, huh, is that it?
I'm not dead.
I'm not dead?
I'm not. I didn't.
Everyone was freaking out about this card. It's what? I take 6 damage? Okay, writes that down.
I lost a card and I blocked with 2 cards. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no.
Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't do exactly that.
Yeah.
But I'll push back with that point to say that those players that are competitive scene of Magic the Gathering is bleeding, and they're going to other pastures to play other competitive trading card games. One of those being Flesh and Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Those players are leaving more than likely because they simply do not like the state of their game. Their standard, I'm very much a layman, so I could be off.
Sure.
But from what I can see, is their standard has turned into modern with the same deck churn or similar deck churn as Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Every 3 to 6 months, they print a bunch of new cardboard for a specific deck that goes to like $600. You get to play that for about 4 to 6 months. They reprint the deck, and for a month, the general player base can play the deck, and then a month or 2 after that reprint happens, ban list, and they nuke it. So you are consistently like playing or buying into 2 or 3 decks, spending about like spending like a grand easy without blinking, because of that deck churn, which I think that's starting to happen with not Yu-Gi-Oh! With Magic the Gathering. On top of, you have sets coming out, standard legal sets. You have new sets that you have to pay attention to without a rotation every 2 to 3 months, with a bunch of cardboard that you don't get to even like sit with. I'm pretty sure in the next like week for Magic, there's going to be another what is it? Spoiler season.
Oh.
Just by like process of like feeling out.
Oh,
cool. Flesh and Blood. Yeah, like what is it? This small locals, including Flesh and Blood, because surprise, Flesh and Blood fell on a Friday. Oh, we don't have locals this weekend. Why? Because Magic's having their pre-release, and that is like a consistent thing that keeps happening, just on Fridays, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday, depending on. But there's so much deck churn, and there's so much deck churn, so many new cards that people are just looking for an out, and they want a competitive game to fill that out that isn't vomiting out new product or like meta relevant product every 2 months, every month, essentially. Flesh and Blood does that. Riftbound does that. Pokemon, shockingly enough, is very solid gameplay wise. It's very different, but it's pretty solid as a competitive trading card game. My rambling is to say that the Spikes are going to venture out and find a trading card game that they like and will put 10,000 hours in without blinking.
So
they're going to do that.
You're saying we don't need to cater to the casuals because the Spikes will
I'm not saying we
build it and they will
I'm not saying that we don't need to cater to the Spikes because they'll come to us anyway.
Yeah.
I'm saying we don't need to churn through our legacy player base.
Well,
if we're churning through our player base, then people will notice that, okay, why are so many people leaving? Why are so many people making a mass exodus to other games from Flesh and Blood? Why is this bleeding locals?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't have a good enough grasp on this. I feel like this is definitely something that Alice has to know more about than any of us because they would have the numbers.
Of course.
And I don't know how much we are hemorrhaging because everyone knows like what their locals look like. I hear that the big cities have been having bigger armories than like ever. And then like the smaller places have been having smaller armories than ever. Roughly, like, is kind of what it feels like. It's almost like Flesh and Blood is becoming more centralized in certain places. Or like there's like hubs for it basically.
Yeah, and that's the general, like that's the rub is Flesh and Blood is growing, and then you look.
And that
at
might be the case. Also, like we only know. I feel like we definitely only know from like an English standpoint. This game is, from what I understand, popping off in certain Pacific and Asian countries
and
and
Europe.
Oh, in Europe,
Yeah.
100%.
So,
Look at their calling
I think what
numbers,
it
it's
could
crazy.
be is there's a decent amount of Flesh and Blood players that are. I think there's a decent amount of Flesh and Blood players that when they first got into the game, it was easy and it was fun, and they got to win a lot, and the rest of the floor of the game has leveled up, and they've allowed the floor itself to be a lot lower for entry for people, and you don't get a bunch of free wins anymore. Best player doesn't always win. It normally wins, but doesn't always win. Is that what? Am I wrong?
No, what is it? You're on it.
No, you're good. I just
You're
read
good.
something in chat that I can
Oh,
get
you're
to
good.
next.
And so my point is, like, I think that's just pushing away the old heads. That, like, I'm gonna be real. There's some people I've met that they sit down across from people, and I've talked to them about it. They've sit down across from people, and they like eye up the person they're playing. They don't even care what the deck they're on. They're like, I expect to win against this person, and I don't
yeah.
think that's healthy. And I think it's just those kind of people with a little bit of ego are getting weeded out, and that's fine. I still like playing Flesh and Blood. I don't win. I feel like, like the people around me are leveling up. Like the average player around me is leveling up. And I still enjoy the game though. So I don't know. If LSS are saying they're, getting bigger and bigger every day, there's no reason not to believe them. If they are all moving to like, if it is like mostly moving to players who are not as serious in the game, that's probably not a bad thing. They probably still buy product. Maybe not as much, but they still buy product. So I don't know. I think I can understand the worry, but that sounds like a worry for LSS to handle, unless it starts affecting my like local scene, which for me personally it hasn't. But
Yeah.
is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or Kevin?
I do think there's a little bit of this kind of. The game does play fundamentally differently, and I think a lot of people have talked about this.
Yeah,
and we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Where it's like they shifted the power from the hero text and the weapons to
And even
cards and deck, which is gonna
all the sips, even equipment.
Yeah, which it's just the game is gonna feel fundamentally differently. So everyone who started playing in the first, or a lot of people who started playing in the first 5 sets are gonna feel that, and if they don't like the game anymore, that's fine. Some of them aren't, because it does feel different, because it does play differently. I do think some of them overreact, but we're card game players. We overreact. That's
It's me. I'm one of them.
yeah.
It's us.
So like, yeah, I'm not like surprised that people feel this way, and but I also and I agree with them, but also like, I don't know. I think we're gonna, as long as if we lose this current player base, because also there's like a weird thing where it's like we might lose this competitive player base but gain another one.
I think I just read what you read.
Yeah, okay.
Holy frick.
Yeah, like we might lose this competitive player base because of what you're talking about happening, where it's like we add a little bit more variance, we put the power, which is part of that is putting the power cards in the deck, not in the weapons,
Mm-hmm.
and then the game is going to feel different. But then do we just pick up another competitive player base because the game is still that good? We just like transition from 80% of this original player base out, and it's a new player base that fills it out because it's still a very good game. Even though I think none of it is necessarily going to help the casuals, because the game is not really suited to casual play, quote unquote.
I feel like there might also be a take about how Sage is kind of a filter, and you learn to play the game on Sage and it feels kind of fun. Maybe you bring it up every once in a while, but those that pass the test and dig into the deepest, darkest parts of their heart move on to CC and become Flesh and Blood gamers. Maybe.
It's It's also a bigger filter than just Silver Age because currently, still now, you look at any type of topping list for any type of top 8 ever, and
That's a
7 out of
filter
8,
that I absolutely. If you're talking about price, I hate that.
yes,
Oh,
yes, it is. It's terrible.
it's. I
As
mean,
I
I own a tunic, so like I don't have to think about that when I look at decks. I own CNCs, and like there is an amount of you buy your dual lands, but like it's the price is rough.
It's hard to justify buy your dual lands for the standard format when you look to your neighbors, um, especially Pokemon. But Pokemon is a vast outlier for reasons I will not get into tonight because we will be here all night. Um, but you look to your neighbors and realize that I could buy 4 or 5 of their decks for the cost of one of my decks.
Yeah.
And then I have to learn how to play Street Fighter 4. Wait,
Oh
this
yeah.
doesn't make sense. I
Yeah.
had to put down 50 hours to play
Oh
casually.
yeah, it's rough. But yeah, I think there could be a conversation about how Sage is like a filter that lets people into CC or not. But thank you so much for the call. Is there anything you want to shout out?
Oh, Clark from last week, you were spitting because Guardian more often than not is pretty. No, Guardian more often than not is pretty mid to pretty bad. And guess what? The only warrior right now that can turn into an illusionist is Kasai.
True.
No other warrior can turn into an illusionist, and that's why Kasai has all the battle hardens and callings to her name. That's why. What is it? What's her name?
So what you're saying is we
Dorinthia
need to give
only
allies
has, like,
to Fang.
one. Apparently, we need to give the goons to Fang. Fang needs to, what is it, on the Hunt to the End of Oblivion, that army, he needs that.
Turn a fealty token into a 1/1.
Please, that'd be so funny.
All right, well, thank you so much for the call. We'll catch you next time.
No problem, no problem. Congrats on the 100, and
Thank
hopefully
you.
I'll see you. I'll make a call on the 150th or something.
Heck yeah, we appreciate it.
No problem, no problem. Thank you for having me on.
Bye. All right, let's see. Clark in chat. Hey yo, what's up? All right. Juice Gabriel. I don't know. Jose. I'm too American English pilled, and
Brother.
It's awful.
Oh my!
Say Juice Gabriel. Holy frick!
Jose.
I don't want to talk
Gabriel
anymore.
Medina.
I was just like, huh? They said the game has also popped off in Brazil. It's bigger than Yu-Gi-Oh at this point. I'd love to see the numbers, but holy frick, if that's true, that's
kind of crazy.
Wild. That's insane. All right, Kevin, your turn to pronounce it.
It's not Jose.
Please tell me it's Juice.
Is that
Juice?
Oh my! I'm not.
I'm so sorry. I'm never gonna say a name right. I hope that's real. I don't know if it's real. We have no numbers to prove that, but if that's real, that's sick. Holy frick!
Flesh and Blood bigger than Yu-Gi-Oh in anywhere is actually crazy. Because also I thought Yu-Gi-Oh was actually like really big in Brazil.
I've heard that as well. It could be locally, and I could understand that. So there's 3 more takes that we could talk about. Somebody put a take in the Discord. Wyatt had a take, and we could talk about a business take or save that one for later. Do you have one that you want to talk about?
I'm good with either.
Any of the 3?
Yeah.
Wyatt, do you want to come on and chat? We can talk about the one that's in the Discord for right now, which is... I can't see the name because I'm in streamer mode. I'd love to hear your guys' take on how much diversity within a deck is accessible. Acilio feels like an S-tier deck that can cheese an easy win in early rounds. Variety is good, but how do you decide the right amount within a hero? Uh, I appreciate the fact that you started with. I love to hear your guys' take on, because the rest of it sounded like we're developers. I can tell you from a player perspective. I don't know how you design a hero like that. Most of the Yu-Gi-Oh pros went to Fab. The winner of last nationals is Michael. He's a very good player from Yu-Gi-Oh. Sick.
Dope. I mean, I think it's like, what do you mean diversity within a deck, and why would that be a problem?
Variance, I assume, like card quality variance.
I guess.
Like if you have Sigil of Lightning, but then you also have Gone in a Flash.
That's not.
I don't know. That's not really
how
it
that
either.
works. Okay, Gone in a Flash is legal in all the same decks as Calm Veil of Volthaven.
Yeah, I forgot that card.
I don't think that works.
Oh, Calm Veil. Yeah.
Hello, gamers.
Oh, Wyatt's here.
I'm here.
Wyatt, what was your take?
My take.
Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from? Your name's
Hello,
Wyatt.
this
What
is
would you like to
Wyatt.
talk about on the show?
Wait. Let me get the honorifics in there. This is the legendary Wyatt Roast Beef Slim from the No Blocks show on Saturday.
The new hit the new hit stream over on YouTube, No Blocks.
Yeah. No, so this is something I've been thinking about for like the past couple of weeks, in that it is, I know that all of us in this call right now are LL enjoyers, but I also know that a large amount of the player base are not LL enjoyers.
Yeah.
And so it's like, my thought was like, how do you actually make LL into a format that a lot more people would be adopting? And that was what I put in chat was, I think if you actually just took the current CC ban list, obviously you're going to have to add stuff to it, and just said like, this is a starting point. All heroes are legal. And allow people to play, because like the ban list is for the most part where, not a ton of stuff has necessarily come off of it once it's added. Like obviously we did just get I feel like Skyward Serenade on ban and whatnot, but like in general, a lot of cards that have gone on there because they're like kind of oppressive have been left on there because they were oppressive, that like you could probably functionally run a all hero legal format with the current ban list as a starting point. And then you have people, and this really follows on the conversation we had with Tim the other night, where he's like, I just want an Elemental Ranger again. But like Lexi, bad in LL right now. And also not legal in CC. So like people that want to play Lexi, they just can't. They're just like, well, your hero's kind of dead, idiot. That like a format that they're not afraid to ban more cards in, and just like monitor it as like a expanded CC format, I think would be a better Living Legend experience for most people, rather than like, here is your Marlin deck that draws 6 cards in a turn and sends 15 overpower Thought Seize you every turn. Or think your Dash IO deck that combos out on turn 3.
I think that could work. I don't know. I'm trying to find the CC card locality policy. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Why did our ban list get so long? Oh my gosh.
I think there would obviously need to be some extra bans if you were to take an approach like that, but
absolutely.
I mean,
I think that like a lot of people like, this is just like when you talk to people about Living Legend and then they see where like, they just watch Dash IO dirtle around, play 2 high octanes, draw out their deck and kill somebody. That's not interesting gameplay for a lot of people. And on the same thing where you like Marlin, as my other example was like Marlin just repeatedly loading a King Shark and then blasting you for 15 overpower 3 times and you die. And then like Starvo going, cool, I'm gonna fuse all the time. Like that's
but that's why we want to play LL.
That's not necessarily. I think that's why we want to play LL.
That's why we want to play
a lot of people. That's why
I want to play LL.
But there's also a lot of people that like we see it over and over where like they're hero LLs and then they just like don't know what to do. That like even if they continue playing a new hero in CC, they always have this like they can have this eternal format that their hero like they can go to their one event that they can go to and go like, cool, I get to go play Dromai again. I get to go play Lexi again in a format that's not also like egregiously overpowered. Where
Did they
games
just
still
go ahead? Yeah.
where like they're still back and forth in games and you feel like you have played a game and not your opponent has um
I feel like you just split up the CC player base if you do that. Like you just create a rift in the player base where some of them are just like, I want to play Dromai. I don't want to
only
play.
wanna play
I don't want to
Dromai.
play Flesh and Blood. I want to play Dromai. And
Mhm.
then there's other people who will be like, well, I like the evolving metagame of CC. I want to play a bunch of different decks. And I think a lot of it will be defined by people who had their first hero LL and they're not interested in looking at other decks. And then also like maybe price is a factor where they're like they don't want to buy into another deck.
Sure. The one thing I do want to say though is that crazy different than people that said I just want to play Dromai and then they say I'm just gonna stop playing Flesh and Blood because Dromai's gone.
True.
They continue to play. They just play their format, and also like we see what LS is doing to LL right now. We're like,
But I go to
They said-
Armory every week with somebody who would do nothing but play Dromai. And they still play CC, but if they were given the option to just play Dromai, they would do that.
I mean,
Like
if you don't, that's on your LGS to not run. Like your LGS can run like one night a week, one night a month of like LL.
Okay.
Right, like it doesn't have to
Yeah.
become your LGS has to run LL, LL or CC. It can be like, yeah, you get.
I'm sorry.
know,
I feel
one-
I feel like I have a lot of like logistics problems with yours that are maybe too Williams specific. Because I
It
know
might
like
be.
when we say, "Hey, do we want to try one draft night this month?" Everyone's like, "Yeah, we can do draft once."
And then draft night comes around and those people don't show up.
They're like, "Yeah, you can do draft once," and it's like
Yeah.
two
Yep.
people will show up to the draft.
Yep.
And it's like, guys, I mean,
But also, like,
we can
I
allow
don't-
the space, but like, what the frick?
I will also say, but like, you don't even have to make it an Armory format all the time.
Mhm.
I'm just saying as a format for other players to adopt, because right now, LL, unless you're like want to do some degen stuff, people don't want to play LL.
I think there's like 10 decks you can play in LL. Like maybe more. That you can
I think
play
there's like
reasonably in
4.
that.
I'm on Kevin's side on this one.
Really? Tim and I
until they
were
until
like
they ban.
rattling off decks.
Yes, if they ban Skeletor and Dio Chess Piece.
But that's not hard to do.
And
Like you just do it.
and
Yes,
possibly
we
something
know.
from Filio.
They could have done that for Worlds.
Yes.
And LL would have been sick, and there would be like 10 plus decks you could play then.
I'm just saying that's still a possibility. They could just
Okay,
do
but
that.
they haven't.
But they
Because they said
They
we're
gave
happy
up.
with the LL format. We're happy with the LL format we curated, but we're gonna bench it. And then they have done nothing to it. And then the next time they're going to give it to us will be this like once a year eternal format. And that, I will be honest, I think that calling is going to be terrible.
I
Yeah.
think
Unless we have 6 months plus of actual LL events before it.
I think actual I don't know. I think I'm not giving y'all's take enough like I don't think I personally, William, can give y'all's take enough respect, unfortunately. Just like in my head, I'm just like, I don't know, like why pitch this idea if LSS isn't gonna do it, but then also say like LSS isn't gonna ban 2 cards.
They didn't. So
They
the
didn't.
current state of LL is there are about 4 decks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. But we're already suggesting a ban list that would be much more, or what Wyatt's already suggesting a ban list that would be much more strict than what LL had.
Yes. And I see Poopy in the chat throughout Golden Age, and
Golden Age is banning Briar. I think their experiment is already not working, but
yeah,
I've talked about that before.
I'm not a fan of actual outright ban a hero because some people do want to play that hero.
I think I'm in the
if you are
mindset
if you are a person that said, I love Briar, I just want to get to play Briar again,
Mhm.
I am willing to accept that Briar was too good, so I will accept that there are going to be cards removed from my deck. And I think that and I know that's a crazy thing because that is under the assumption that people have a functioning brain and can be rational, and I know that's crazy work.
I think yeah, go ahead.
But I think that if you want to do that, you do have to you have to trade off yeah, my hero was kind of egregious. If I want to keep playing it, yeah, there's going to be a strict ban list imposed.
I think that at this point I'm only seeing LL can be every hero is playable or it's the most powerful stuff in a meta game, which means only a couple of decks are playable. You know, even if it's like 7 or 10.
I mean, power level is relative.
As broken as possible.
As broken as yeah, sure.
As broken as possible, but allowing a certain amount of decks to play in that bracket of as broken as possible, right?
I mean, that's just you're choosing an arbitrary power level that is not. Sure, you're choosing a power level and you want a certain number of decks.
I mean, the power level isn't only Verdance, but
yeah. But you want a certain number of decks viable, which means the power level has to be cut down to a certain amount for that many decks to be viable.
Sure, that's what I think, and I feel like the other suggestions for a longer ban list is you're cutting the power level down to where it's a lot of these decks either aren't decks anymore or every deck is viable, which is not interesting.
Sure.
I think every deck being viable is way more interesting. I think
when you can play Starvo and Betsy in a format is wild.
I think that if you have a format that I can come out of one weekend and let's say Briar absolutely dunks on him, does tricks on that thing. And then the next week, people go, all right, the next major event is all right, I'm going to show up because people will be on Briar and have a counter pick to Briar that is completely viable. That is way more interesting. Having again, this is if we have 10 plus decks that are all reasonable picks, they were dominant when they were in CC, and they're dominant in this format. I think that's fine.
Yeah,
but
I think I think we're on the same page with that. I'm just okay. I don't know. I think I just keep seeing Golden Age, and I'm just that ban list is so long, no one's having fun.
I think Golden Age has a separate problem, which is they are having to ban heroes, at which point they've already failed their own mission statement.
Right. If you're trying to make it so that every hero is playable, when it comes to
I don't think they're trying to make it so. Well, not them.
Not them necessarily. Playable.
Sure, it's you can't take Golden Age isn't doing what LL is doing. It's trying to just be a higher power format where you can play at least some of the older heroes. I think they're splitting the difference, and it doesn't really work. But Golden Age has its own problems.
Where's Tim? I think he can explain my take better than me.
He's probably on date night because him and his wife are on a road trip tomorrow.
Oh, that's so true. He said hello at one point. Nice to see you, Tim, on episode 100. I think what we want is we just want a big power format. And we don't have that right now.
Sure.
I think we can all agree on that. If there was a relatively balanced with a meta game, big powered format, that would be awesome. Tim's kind of around.
He's kind of around.
We are with Tim tonight at date night.
Hi, Brittany.
I'd like to see temporary hero bans. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Franklin. I think that I don't know.
So if you took a temporary hero ban,
I think if
You're functionally doing the Silver Age treatment to Living Legend, where you say these heroes are too good, we're gonna bench you for a season, and then come back around to you.
that's what someone
Meh.
put in chat.
Yeah.
I
don't know
think
if that-
I don't know. I've heard some people where they're just like, yeah, I want to play Riptide in the same meta as Chain in LL,
No,
and I'm like,
that's just not possible.
That's not possible, and that's what
Yeah.
and I think that's
Yeah,
part
I guess I
of
should
what.
say I did say I want everything to be on equal power
Yeah.
level. I mean, I want like 10 decks, like
Tim,
I said, like 10
if
decks.
you can argue right now that in LL you could play 10 decks to these two, you should hop in.
Right now, with their current ban list, while Viscerai chess
I think
piece
he
and
would-
Dio chess pieces,
I think
still
he would
legal.
say under the guise of you ban those two cards, then the
Yeah,
meta looks
and I
good.
agree with that.
I would agree with that.
And what Wyatt said, ban Volzar or something like that.
Yeah, Volta. I think if we had an
Probably.
LL event coming up, I think like in a vacuum, Acilio might be kind of heinous.
Acilio 1 might go dummy.
Yeah. Because
Might be doing
he was
tricks
talking
on that
about
thing.
Kano, Acilio 1, Starvo, Chain, Viscerai, Dio, Marlin.
Yeah.
Like, these are all great decks.
If Viscerai and Dio lose their chess pieces, yes, I agree that there's like 10 decks you can play in LL.
Chessless Viscerai.
Yeah, but like otherwise, I
sign
think
me
there's
up.
about 4 decks.
Do you need to ban the chess piece for there to be that many viable decks?
Okay, he's here. All right.
Yes.
I'm gonna do this now.
Okay, so you can play Viscerai, you can play Marlin, you can play
Sure.
Kano, you can play Starvo.
I don't know if I agree with Kano.
I said you can take Kano off there. Starvo for sure though.
Sure.
We had Chain around. Chain was around.
I don't put Chain up there.
You don't put Chain, dude. Chain.
Nope.
Chain was in the top 8 of Worlds.
The people who went 4-1 plus happened to be on Chain. How many Viscerais started 4-1 plus?
There were also 3 in the top 16 of calling, right?
Sure.
So like that is a reasonable amount of people who had success with it.
I'm on Tim's side on this one. There was a lot of Chain that people did not expect.
I still don't give Chain the credit.
You think if the meta goes on long enough, we cut Chain out?
Yep.
I know this is gonna be a controversial one, but I think Dromai was a good deck that could top 8 in those metas.
I think that's crazy.
I think Warmongers put in so much work whenever they unbanned that
I think people played around Warmongers like absolute monkeys.
I mean, that could be true too, but if people are going to play around it like monkeys, then
I think Starvo would have done better if Warmongers was the problem.
Into certain decks, yeah. His problem was the other
Warmongers?
His problem was the decks that like didn't care about Warmongers. Where Dromai was beating the decks that didn't care about Dromai, the Warmongers.
What? One more time.
Okay. Starvo's problem was the decks that he could Warmongers, he was already good into. Where Dromai's problem was the decks that
disagree.
Clark, I love you. I don't like that take.
Was Starvo good into Viscerai?
I think Starvo was pretty like 40 to 50% into Viscerai.
I think Viscerai put Base of the Mountain in their deck, and Starvo went to 20% in that matchup.
I think Starvo saw Viscerai puts Base of the Mountain into that matchup, and then flipped the matchup where they just were like, "Oh, if you're gonna do this, then you don't have creepers," and now we can. Dude, I can't express to you how
I feel like I
was
remember us.
losing this
I feel like I remember us testing this match a lot, and I just remembered Viscerai going, "I'm just gonna stack a pile of rune chants and blow you."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna put base in, and you cannot stop me.
They had more disruption in the Starvo decks at Worlds and the calling than we had in our testing decks.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Clark. He said we should have LL that's Fab 1.0 and LL that's Fab 2.0. And that might be kind of what
Now
we're
that's
getting
too
at.
confusing. Now that's too
Like-
confusing.
So
I think
we've
LL
got
Fab 2.0 is Golden Age
we've got Legacy, we've got Modern, we've got Standard. Okay.
and Draft and Sage and Commoner.
Yeah.
And UPF.
All well maintained and balanced.
And
Yes,
Cube.
yes.
Tim, I
Remember all
finished
this-
making
Holy
my
Christ.
Tales of Aria set cube. By the way.
Also, if we're putting Dromai on there, then like you gotta include Zen because Zen did win a calling.
Yes.
He did win the calling.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zen was in my list. I just hadn't thought
I
about.
think I think I probably put 5 decks and Zen is the 5th one because Zen did have some very good tools for dealing with both Viserai and Dio in his own
Mhm.
way.
What do you think about Icelander?
No.
Like, Icelander had half the meta she couldn't deal with, and then half the meta that she just like
She-
absolutely obliterated.
She got, I think, 70% into like 2 of the top 5 and then 0% into the other 3.
It was interesting because there was a couple Icelanders around the top tables at that LO calling.
Yeah, I think people didn't test into Icelander and weren't prepped for Icelander and probably got their back blown out on like 2 turns of the game and just lost because of it. Like,
Fair.
that's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
I have not played against Icelander a ton as Zen in LL, but every time I sat down from an Icelander that like they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I came playing Icelander to beat up on ninjas and aggressive decks." I'm like, "That's cool. My deck has 32 blues main and belittle. I don't
that
care
was-
about it."
Yeah.
And
good-
then I
good luck.
proceeded to not lose to Icelander.
Yeah, I think that matchup was like playable from both sides, but I think Icelander needed to understand how Zen works, and if they didn't, then
Yep.
Zen with their 32 blues did punish them quite frequently.
Yeah.
And I think also the Zen, you could also as Zen get punished super easy if you didn't understand your timing windows.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I think the biggest one was like, even if I know, like I transcend on a levels, like choosing to not get an extra levels mode off strictly because if they blizzard me while my like a certain while a trigger is on
Yeah.
the stack, I like my turn ends. So I
Yeah.
just have to say, yep, I'm not going to do anything extra.
Yep,
I'm not going to
that's
activate
priority.
Zen. Yep.
Yeah,
Brendan,
Yeah,
I
that's just
don't-
interesting.
Brendan, real quick.
I think
How
there
many
was
heroes
a
are playable
tier
in
2.
LO right now?
I think there was a tier 2 that had these like
Off the top of your
6 decks, but I don't think they were the same level as Dio or Viserai.
I did think of one more, which is I think Gravy was going to be a problem with more testing. Problem, quote unquote. It's like one of the meta contenders.
I wouldn't necessarily be surprised, but I am not sold on it.
Mm-hmm.
I would need to see some serious like action point generation from them because they get a lot of card
Yes.
draw. They for
I think-
sure get a lot of card draw.
I
they
think-
go through their deck.
Yeah,
I think there's a world where if like LL they didn't say in January that like I'm going to take you out back and put a gun to your head. I think there's a world where you could have seen a cash-in ban in LL because like Gravy would have been a
Yep.
offender of this. Marlin, Viserai, like all of these decks we're talking about, Dash, all of these decks are like I'm going to
cash and
start with a
restriction at
gold
least.
and I'm going to play a cash-in and it's gonna be sick nasty with it.
Well, it would have been a restriction, which
Yes.
is funny because for Dash and Viserai, it might not make a difference.
Here's what I want. This is a little off topic and just more all encompassing. Is I think it would be
I believe
like
you do.
Brendan says like IDK like 10. And then I think
Really,
I like the idea of if Flesh and Blood we go through these seasons. I wish the seasons were like maybe more tailored to certain formats and we had like a soft rotation of formats. Like
Oh,
neg-
like how the RCs in Magic
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
There's a standard RC season, there's a modern RC season.
Yeah, and
There
when that
was a
was
Pioneer
explained to
PT.
me, I was like, that's actually, I kind of like that a little bit. But you have to really like Flesh and Blood. You have to have an LL deck or
Yeah.
be in the LL meta. You have to like
I think
CC.
that-
you have to like draft.
That
I
might
would-
make.
I would be willing to bet money
It
that
might be a William thing.
sub 10% of the community at any one time has a CC, LL, and Silver Age deck together.
Here's also the thing:
Oh,
is
easily sub 10%.
anyone here right now, and watching the show, and subscribe to the Discord, or watching this later as a
And
podcast,
subscribe
or
to the
anything,
Patreon.
and subscribe to the Patreon. You are the 10%, by the way. Like, if you're going through and watching this show, you are of the like most 10% most enfranchised player, right? The casual scene is larger than we can actually fathom, I assume. So I think I don't know. I think often when I talk about what I would like for LL, or when I said that formats thing just a minute ago, that's more of a selfish want. I don't actually think that'd be great for the game. I just want to play. I just want to play a little bit of LL.
I just
And a
want to
little
have
bit-
a little LL
and I
as a
want-
treat.
I don't know if Tim heard me, but like, man, can we get like one draft in locally? Like, hecking, come on.
No, I'm with the non-drafters. I'm sorry.
It's so over, chat.
Our usual routine when we run like a new set comes out, we will run a draft the first week the set is legal, and then probably never touch that draft format again.
Yep.
Because people just don't turn out for draft.
Mm-hmm. True.
I didn't turn out for Sage last night whenever I knew that it was a format that didn't exist post Monday.
Yo, but I've been playing Aurora and Sage, and I will say, from an Armory enjoyer, is that I do appreciate. I appreciate most of my LGS and my community. There are some people that I don't, take it or leave it. But for the most part, everyone comes to the agreement that for Sage Night, we don't pay attention to what's good, and people just show up with what they want to.
Yeah.
And so, like, me and my buddy Jason, we've been showing up and playing Aurora, and it's been great.
I don't know. Tim and I showed up with Oldham, so I think we're at a
Disgusting.
different armory.
We had fun.
I think I'm gonna.
We had a
step back.
great,
I think I'm
we had a
gonna vomit.
crowd.
Yeah, me
We
and
had-
Wayne were
we-
pulling a crowd for our mirror match.
People wanted to watch it. All right, I think I'm gonna like wrap up the show here. I don't know what Kevin's plans, what everyone's plans are after the show, but we typically stream for a little bit just after the show itself. And so if y'all wanted to hang around,
We're gonna start
for the
Tim
streams
Scrubs
for the
Radio
show.
after.
Yeah,
the
we're gonna do
stream.
that. So, real quick, I'll just wrap it up. Thank y'all so much for everyone who came on. And there was a couple of people we didn't get around to, either because it was mostly like timing. I feel like, we ran long and still didn't get to everybody. We just had a lot to talk about. So if you'd like to be on next week, man, just show up. It'd be great. We'll have you on. I guarantee it. But I think that mostly wraps it up. Kevin, you have any shout outs?
No, I'm good.
Anyways, Kevin's got a show called Armchair Armory that he's starting up.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I like it.
The fourth one went up today.
Yeah.
I got a little camera set up. I take it to armories and record my games, and then do some slightly more laid back commentary over them, and it goes up on YouTube. So however many armories I go to that week and get enough games from, that's how many go up. So I've had 2 the last 2 weeks. So
They're sick. Wyatt, Tim, do y'all have anything?
Shout out the table pit.
Sick.
Shout out Table Pit. Shout out No Blocks Saturday morning. Are we playing Saturday?
I would.
Okay.
Are you busy?
July
Do
4th
you have
stream?
Tim over at
I'm
your house tomorrow?
Brother. Tim's coming
Oh,
tomorrow.
Saturday?
That's only Friday. No, Tim's not gonna be
So-
here Saturday. He's gonna be too busy
Oh
doing
my
like
God.
stuff with his family. Like,
I know.
This
couldn't be
guy,
me.
holy,
couldn't. Oh,
loser.
brother, this guy stinks.
couldn't be me.
Could not be me.
Actually, I was thinking about like, it's like 100 degrees in Roanoke right now, and I was thinking about
Disgusting.
mowing my lawn at 4 a.m. tomorrow.
Yo, Paul.
I'm not big friends with my neighbors.
True.
Remember to go check out our merch at the tablepit-shop.fourthwire.com where you get shirts that say things like
The table pit.
Look at
The
this.
table pit.
This looks great. Snazzy. Looks great
I'm
in
barred
tie.
for PQs.
Honestly.
Bard from PQs. Smurf Fab.
Bored for PQs is sick.
I'm not
Smurph
barred
Fab.
from PQs.
I'm not either. I didn't even try this season. I said I ain't going to Vegas.
If you want to help make
What I
this
look
stream
like, I'm
look
made of
nicer
money.
and help us get supplies for our project videos and Tim Scroggs Variety Hour, you can support us over at patreon.com/thetablepit. We were able to get this mic, which before the show, we played a short snippet of the first Pit Against episode, and holy frick, I had a different microphone. Holy cow, it sounded completely different. So thank y'all so much for that. And thank y'all so much for watching. We do this every Thursday night at 8, and we also have No Blocks and Chill Tower Star stream where we don't block.
Except for when we do.
Saturday mornings at 9. I guess we're doing it this Saturday, right?
I guess so.
I guess so.
I
right.
guess so.
Thank y'all so much for watching. Bye.
Goodbye.